this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet the cluster stitch. Really lovely 2-row repeated pattern, slightly different on the reverse because of the cluster stitches, but equally as beautiful if you wanted to make a scarf. Just a really lovely mindful stitch. For this tutorial I'm going to be using a double knit yarn. I have a 4.5mm crochet hook. Ordinarily I would use a 4 with a double knit, but I would like it to be a little bit drapier. You can use any size yarn, any weight yarn with the corresponding size crochet hook, or go up 0.5mm just to sort of give it that little bit of drape. I have scissors to cut off my end and I have needle to sew in my ends. So we're going to start by making a foundation chain. Now our foundation chain needs to be in even numbers, or multiples of 2 if you prefer. So I'm going to make a slip knot. You can do that in whichever way you prefer. And then to make our chain, we yarn over and pull through the slip knot. That's 1 chain, 2 chains, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go up to 20 with my chain, so you can make your chain as long as you would like it to be for your project, or you can do the 20 along with me if you just want to make a sample piece. So pause the video now whilst you make your foundation chain. So I finished my foundation chain. I now have 20 chains, and we're going to start working row 1 in the 2nd chain from the hook. So we don't count the one on the hook. So 1, 2, and in there we're going to do a double crochet. That's UK terminology. In US that would be a single crochet. So to do that, I insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Going to make a double crochet in the next chain. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We're then going to chain 1, we're going to skip the next chain, and we're going to work a double crochet in the next chain. Going to chain 1, skip the next chain, work a double crochet in the next one. And we're going to repeat this all the way down the row. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet. So continue down the row until you have 3 stitches left at the end, and I will join you back there. So pause the video now. So I'm coming up to the end of my row, and if you recall at the start of the row we did 2 double crochets to start off, and we're going to end the row with 2 double crochets as well. So I have my 3 stitches left. I've just done the double crochet in that stitch. I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the last but 1, and double crochet in the last stitch. You may want to tighten up your tail at this point, and there we have our first row. Now for row 2 we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to turn our work. And we're going to be working in the chain spaces. So we know we had 2 double crochets at the start. So there's our chain space, there's the double crochet, there's the next chain space. And be careful you're not going into the space created by the double crochet at the bottom. And you'll see with the double crochet you get these 2 lines as part of the stitch. That's the double crochet, so don't go in under there. You're going in the chain space before and the chain space after. So in that first chain space we are going to do a treble 4 together to make our cluster. So we're going to yarn over, insert into the chain space, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. yarn over, pull through the first 2 and then stop that stitch. Going to do the second one, so yarn over, insert into the same chain space, yarn over, pull back through. You should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2. You now have 3 loops on your hook and stop the stitch there. Yarn over, insert into the chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 and stop your stitch there with 4 loops on your hook. And then we'll do the last one, yarn over, insert into the same chain space, yarn over, pull a loop back through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2. You now have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. We're then going to chain 1, and that closes off the cluster and also gives us the space to travel over the double crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to go and do exactly the same thing in the next chain space. Remember, we want to be careful not to go in those spaces that have been created where the yarn's been pulled up. So this is the chain space here. And we're going to do the same cluster stitch. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook and stop. And the last one, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook and stop. You should now have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops and chain 1. And we're going to do this all the way down the row in every chain space. So making sure we're not going into that one just above the foundation chains, because that's where the double crochet is. Working into the next chain space with a cluster. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, 5 loops on your hook, pull through all 5 and then chain 1. And we're going to continue all the way down the row doing this cluster stitch in the chain spaces until you get to the end, and I will join you at the end. So pause the video now. So I'm just coming up to my last cluster. It's 2, 3 and 4, and I chain 1. We skip the double crochet, and in the very last stitch, which you might have to twist around to see because it's sort of on the side there, we're going to put in there 1 treble stitch. So yarn over, making sure you're going through both parts of the loop of the stitch, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So you have the chains at the beginning, which count as 3 chains as part of the treble and 1 as a chain, and then at the end you have a treble and a chain. So for row 3 then we're going to chain 1. That chain 1 does not count. We're going to turn our work, and because it doesn't count, we're going to work in that very first stitch with a double crochet. Remember, I'm working in UK terms, that's a single crochet in US. So we're going to be working into the chain spaces between our cluster stitches. So this is a really simple row. In that chain space there, we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, and that chain 1 can travel us over the cluster stitch to the next chain space where we're going to do a double crochet. We chain 1, and in the next chain space we're going to do a double crochet, and we're going to do that all the way down the row. So chain 1, find the next chain space and do a double crochet. So work your way down the row and I will meet you just before you get to the end. So pause the video now. So I've come to the end of my row. I've done my double crochet in the last chain space. So we need to finish off this row. Now we started the row with 2 double crochets. We're going to finish the row with 2 double crochets. So I've done my double crochet in my chain space. Going to chain 1. I'm going to do a double crochet in the final chain space, and then for the second double crochet I'm going to work in the 3rd chain and the turning chain. So 1, 2, 3, insert and make your double crochet. Now you could put 2 double crochets into the turning chain, but by putting it into the 3rd chain of the turning chain you get a much neater edge. So always best to try and work into stitches rather than sort of have them hanging around. Okay, so row 3 is doing your double crochets into the chain spaces. Row 4 we go back to the cluster stitch, and rows 3 and 4 are your repeated pattern. So for row 4 we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, going to turn our work, and we're going to work a cluster stitch in the chain space. So remember we had a double crochet here, a double crochet here, and this is the chain space. Do not go into these chain spaces underneath, they've already been worked. And if you're not sure, that chain space, if you remember, we chain to go over the cluster. So the chain space is above the cluster. So all of your cluster stitches will be in a row above each other. So we're going to do our cluster stitch. So we yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Then we chain 1, closes off the stitch, carries us over that double crochet, and we can work into the next space. So we're going to do a cluster stitch in there as well. And don't forget, you can always slow down videos. So if you need to go a little bit slower, if you need to rewind to catch anything that you may have missed, then that's absolutely fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and pull through and chain 1. So work all your way down the row till you get to just before the end, and I will join you at the end. So I'm just doing my last cluster stitch now. It's 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over and make my chain. So I have 2 stitches left. We skip the first one and we do a treble in the last stitch. Just a single treble. Remember, that would be a double crochet in US. So there we have the row 3 and row 4, which are the repeated rows. So row 3 to start off, then you would chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 doesn't count, therefore we're going to do a double crochet in the first stitch. Then you do a double crochet in the chain space, and then you chain 1 and you work double crochet into each of those chain spaces, back down the row, and then when you come to the next row you'll be doing the cluster row that we've just done. And it really is just as simple as those 2 row repeated patterns. So I'm going to work up a few more rows now for you to see how it looks, and I will see you in a second. So I've worked up a few more rows for you to see how it looks. Really lovely stitch. You get this lovely even pattern. Slightly different on the back because obviously the cluster stitches look different on the reverse as they do on the front, but actually looks equally nice if you were to make a scarf with this. It's not an untidy reverse to this stitch. So simple 2 row repeated pattern, really easy to do. I think it's going to become one of my favourite mindful stitches. So that's how to do the cluster stitch. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm to do all of its business to show it to other crocheters. I will pop 2 more videos on the side of the screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!